Hello and good evening. Thank you all for showing up tonight. Hope you're all doing well. It's basically just magic. Hey, Maki! How are ya? Good to see ya. Hope you're well. Did you get a chance to see the teapots, Maki? No horsehair teapot sets. That's non-functional. I mean, I could do it, but you wouldn't want to use it. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, I'm glad you get to catch the stream before you go to bed. Yeah, it would be pretty. The horsehair definitely looks really nice, but the finish is non-functional, so you really just can't force that sort of thing. So, if anyone who's on hasn't voted for the Twitch Pottery Throwdown popular or People's Choice, that's what it is, People's Choice, then please do so. That's the code that I have up there in the top of the screen. You can follow that link and vote for whatever you like. You don't have to vote for me. Pick your best. Pick the one you like the best. Nice. There were more than you expected. Yeah, there's quite a few people. A couple pieces didn't make it to the end. Hey, thank you for the follow. The Mark B. Appreciate it. Yeah, everyone's work had a lot of character. It was really nice to see. I still haven't chosen my favorite yet. I'm not voting for mine, but I want to vote for somebody else. And it's a hard choice. So just kind of a recap for this was my piece. And it had some little friends to go with it. Thank you, Mikey. Here's another one of the teapots. Thanks so much, Mountain Mama. Appreciate it. Yeah, this one came out really nice. I love the drips. Hey, Kat, how are you? Good to see you. Love your tea set, by the way. I'm just showing off some of the completed sets that I made from the previous week. Thanks. Yeah, this one came out really nice. Love it. I also had the wavy one. Yeah. It's little friends. Yeah, lots of curves. Reminds you of the beach and the ocean. Nice. So that set came out real nice. But I was real happy with that. How everything came out. It's Unomas look. Alright, so really like all the colors that came around the base too. You imagine what sound they make? Yeah. Alright. Good luck with that, cat. I completely understand. I can always grab those again if anyone shows up and wants to see them, but I'm gonna work on trimming some of the platters that I threw like a couple of weeks ago. Just had them sitting under plastic. So I did apply a bit of a white slip to the surface just to kind of brighten the clay up a little bit, because the clay is this kind of buff color. So I want to give it a little bit of brightness to make the glazes that go on it a little brighter. So So how is everyone tonight? It's just a rainy day here. Not much to complain about. That's not bad. Wonderful day otherwise. You love the titles for the streams. That's good. I just try to play with the with the titles. We were making jokes about magic last night, so it's just kind of playing off what happened last night. Gotta try to keep it punny. What's the vote thing? That's that sends people to the survey where they can choose the pot for the Twitch Pottery Throwdown so that everyone can vote. So if you type that in chat, it brings up the link. So if you type in !vote in chat, it'll bring up the survey where people can vote for the pieces. So if someone wants to type that in chat, feel free. There you go. Thank you. Like I said, vote for whatever you like. I'm not here pandering for votes. I want people to choose what they like. I think everyone did a wonderful job. I'm just thrilled to have been a part of it. Send those trimmings flying. I'm still thinking about what Maki said about seeing the teapot spouts and wondering what kind of sounds they would make. It's like, I imagine a lot of them would whistle or toot. Toot toot? Yeah, right. It's kind of funny because you try to give them all personality and then think about what they would sound like is really funny. If they were little characters. The popular votes open, Cat, so people can go check that out. If you wanna, let's see, I forget which page. I think it's in the announcements on the Discord. Polly posted it there, So you can copy the link or share it however you would like, or just follow the link that got posted. And then Mark, I'm using a Shimpo Whisper. And Maki says, I think it comes from Pingu, the animated clay penguin. When he makes the newt newt sound, it looks like a spout. Nice. So I see a similar shape, and my brain goes newt newt. Nice. Have I heard of a gurgle pot? I've seen certain things like little birds that when water goes through them, they make noises and stuff like that. Is it similar to that? Like as the water flows through it, it makes some sort of sound? Oh, you went to check a video with the gurgle pot. Love that. Water sounds. I do have well, I don't have a Bailey wheel. I have a Brent, 2 Shimpos, and I have a, what is it? One of those Clay Boss, but it's like the step up one. I got it from someone. It's out of commission at the moment. It needs a new pedal. And I have an old kick wheel. Shaped like a fish, when you pour liquid, it makes a gurgling sound. Ah. The studio I work at and teach at actually has a bunch of Bailey wheels. I think most of the Bailey wheels have, well, at least the ones I've seen have the splash pans are like the full tray, essentially. They might have one that's different, but this splash pan comes apart in 2 pieces. You wonder how it works? Is it the shape inside? I assume you're talking about the gurgle pots. Yeah. So if it's anything like an ocarina, then it would be because as the water goes through it, it's creating pressure and then pulling air through, and then the air is causing the sound. I'm not exactly sure what it sounds like at the moment, but if it's a whistle or kind of loud sound, then it might be pulling the air through a chamber that splits. So when you're making a clay whistle or any like traditional style flute, basically if your airway is shaped like a like this, then you want to take put the clay here, or whatever's breaking that sound. And so as the air comes through, it breaks over and splits it, and then it makes it create that tone. So if it's creating like a suction, it could be making the noise that way. That's if it's making a tone. I haven't looked it up yet. So hey, the anti-troll. You're loved and appreciated by all. Thank you for sharing your time and talent. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. You are definitely the anti-troll. Hey, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Thank you. Glad you're enjoying it. Glad to have you here. All right. So let's move on to the next one. Since more trimming's flying. I'll probably put a white slip on the back of these pieces as well, just to soften it, and maybe even another coat over the top. So we'll see. Might get to that tonight. So you see I've done a very similar thing to this one. I even really like the striations that it creates. It's kind of fun to see that in the end result. So let's get this one centered up. Get it locked on here so it doesn't move while I'm trimming it. So the slips that I add to the surface, the one that I have on it already is just plain white. But Maki. But the colors can be any color. If I choose to put, red, green, blue, purple, whatever I want on there, I can change that up. Right now I'm in bed, right? Nice, France. Wonderful. Yeah, the daylight savings time thing always throws me for a loop too. But I would like for it to end. It just seems a little crazy. So the plate started shifting with the pressure, so I'm just trying to lock it back in place. I think I need to move it again. There we go. Type of mountains is Mountain Mama in, leafy or stony? Both? Then the best. Yeah, the best. In the Great Smoky Mountains. Nice. I've seen some pictures. It's beautiful. Yeah, we'll see when that happens. Still trying to get everything settled. My wife Sarah got her first vaccine shot today, so that's exciting. Honestly, not sure. She got home right before I went live, so I didn't get a chance to ask. She was on a. Oh yeah, it's definitely a bit dry. She was on a waiting list, and they just called her a little while ago, and she just ran out and got it. Cat, I threw these. What shot did you get? I threw these plates like 2 weeks ago. I had them under plastic, but this one dried out a little bit more than some of the others. The first one I trimmed wasn't bad. Nice. Moderna. Gosh, that thing won't stay on. Split it up. This is a different clay body. that this platter is thrown out of from most of the teapots and the teacups that I threw. This is a very groggy, gritty clay. But it tolerates stress a little bit better and thermal shock a bit better. So when I'm making large pieces, I tend to use it. And then if I just want a soft surface, then I cover it with the soft white clay body that I use as a slip. And they fit together really well, and sometimes I'll just mix the two clay bodies together to get kind of a hybrid clay body, and it works out really well too. Would have taken any shot, yeah. Right at this point. Oh, that's a nice sound. Hey, Squidward. How you doing, bud? Good to see you. Was my intermittent internet? Yeah. Sounds about right. Just pick your favorite. They're all wonderful. I can, well, if you've already chosen it, that's fine, but it was this piece here. Well, you only get one vote, so I hope it was a good one. I encourage you to pick your favorite. There's lots of very talented people that submitted work for this event. My stone is up here. Give it a little burnish. Hey Lisa, how are you? Good to see you. Hope you and Sam are well. Thank you, Trigger Smooch. Appreciate it. I'll just call you Smooch. Hey, Blake, how are you? Good to see you. Hope all is well. You're having a wonderful evening. So I'm just using the stone to polish up the surface a bit, push down some of the grog that's in this clay. It can still come out in the firing, so I'm not really worried too much about it because I'm still just gonna put a layer of slip on it to kind of cover it up anyway. Might as well do that now. Nice. Work is done for the week. Can't beat that. Looks like I'm making crepes. If only it was so delicious. Crepes. Well, the slip does a couple things, Mountain Mama. The first thing that it's going to do for this specific clay body is brighten it. So this clay body is a buff clay, and it's going to make the clay body more white, so the glazes are going to be brighter. It's also going to help keep the grog or the grit that's in this clay in check a little bit, so when it fires off, it's going to have a gritty texture after it's fired to full temperature, because the grog kind of comes back out of the clay body a little bit. And so this clay body doesn't have any grog in it, so that layer between will help kind of soften that grit, keep it from coming out as much. And so it's doing a couple different things. You do that on the rims of cups to smooth. Yeah, it's a good way to keep your clay body in check. It defeats the evil grog monster. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the grog monster can be a beast, so definitely want to try to keep it in check. Yeah, you can use it to add accents too. I use it to add color to pieces a lot. I don't have anything in the range of my grasp at the moment, but we have a bunch of colored slips, and you can use the colored slips to add a lot of different decoration and fun too. Yeah, it is a good fix for recycled groggy clay. This is a big one. I might need a slightly larger bat. Now I want to make clay. Well, I just fixed the mixer. Ceramics is like the ultimate, you're going to be learning for the rest of your life art. So we have to teach each other, or else it would take many, many lifetimes to get anywhere. Ceramicists are normally pretty free and open about their processes and techniques. Yep, that's what makes it wonderful. I'd get bored if I didn't have anything else to learn. Just move on to something else that was more skill intensive. But I just haven't reached the point yet with clay where I've felt like I've even come close to knowing everything there is to know, so, and I don't expect to. Oh, nice. That plate was hanging over the edge and I'm getting a bit of a wobble from it hanging, so it's not sitting flat, so I just want to get a wider bat on here. Nowhere for the trimmings to go. But at least it'll sit flatter. It looks like chocolate trimming. You have all the patisseries in mind now. Yeah, the there's lots of slips. There's like dark chocolate brown clay, and oh yeah, the white clay when it's all slipped up can look like frosting or icing. I used to make jokes with the college kids and just give them a bucket of slip and be like, all right, it's not frosting now, don't eat it. between the slips and the different plasters that we used to use in the sculpture lab, you make all sorts of stuff that looks delicious that would kill you if you ate it. Trader Joe truffles. Yeah, right. Rating Blake's. There we go. Now the trimmings will fly. No, I haven't been watching Zika. Yeah, that 306 clay was super dark chocolate brown. Can almost taste it. Living that truffle dream life. I'm gonna have to spend so much time sweeping after this. There's nowhere for these trimmings to go because the bat I'm using is the entire size of the splash pan. So Kat is the. Do you sometimes find trimmings in unexpected places? Yeah, can happen for sure. I tend to keep most of the, pretty much everything except for the wheels is. That's a pretty funny thing to say. Everything except for the wheels are on wheels. So like all my shelving is mobile, and so, you know, besides lifting up a couple stools and rolling the shelves around, it's pretty easy to get in all the nooks and crannies in the studio. And it's a tile floor, so it can be cleaned up pretty good. I was gonna ask you about the Ensika. So they're doing it virtually, and is it basically just like virtual gallery tours, and you get to watch the presenters like in a kind of Zoom meeting, or is it all pre-recorded? How does that work? Lectures, discussions, demos, presenters, mostly Zoom, some pre-recorded. Nice. Yeah, one of the presenters is actually the professor of ceramics here at Salisbury University, David Scott Smith. Clay ribbons, so large. Yeah. It's pretty fabulous, and because everything is recorded, you can watch stuff you missed later. Nice. Well, that's a really cool way to do it. So it gives you time to get through everything, which is good. It's kind of better because I guess you have to like pick and choose, and you kind of miss things when you're at the actual event, so. Now you actually get more options to see the different presenters. Alright. Gonna hit it with a bit of stone here. Also, gallery tours, they tried to do everything normal but virtual. Loving it. And no overcrowded rooms, right? Well, that's that's the reason it was canceled last time, so. But it was supposed to be last year, right? Did they just postpone it to this year, or am I? Yeah, because I remember it being canceled. They refunded a lot of stuff. I was hoping you wouldn't ask me if I have ever gone, because I'm a blasphemous potter. I've never been to Ensika. I've never been able to afford it. I do go to the biennial Mid-Atlantic Clay Conference in Virginia, though, pretty often. Gone for the last. That's every 2 years, and I've gone 3 times. So for 6 years. Oh no, I did get the overcrowded room comment. I've seen many pictures, and I've talked to people who've gone, and I know how it works. I've just never been, and yeah, I can imagine. Plus, overcrowded rooms with COVID and all. Yeah, everything you wanted to see would be overcrowded, and you couldn't see it. Yep. Yeah, we did look at tickets for it before the pandemic hit. Hmm. Blake, Clay's Food is talking about the NCCA conference. You're in a truffle coma, no wonder. I think I was throwing these platters the first time you came to the stream, Blake. So yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago. My slip recipe is my clay body mixed with water. It's a very high-tech slip recipe. It's a Little Loafers slip. The Little Loafers and the Soul Date actually mix really well together. Out of here, possibly. There we go. What do I fire to? I fire to a hard 6. Probably 7-ish. I give it some time at the end of the firing for heat work. So years ago, my brother-in-law goes to Nsika. They're talking at the check-in about someone who was supposed to wear these little around to advertise to get a free entry. So my bro says, "I'll do it." So he puts on these little things and runs around giving out cards for this one company. I think hotel security was looking for him a bit, but years later, people wouldn't say, "You were that guy." Wasn't here, but I saw the pictures. Oh my goodness, that's really funny. 25 or 30 years ago, yeah. Be like, "You're that guy." It's funny. All right, so I think Blake was asking if I was gonna do slip like Stephen Hill does it. Hey, nice, you got a sub? Sweet. So Stephen Hill is this potter, and he does like thick slip, and then he'll just throw it on the piece really thick like this to get different textures. So you can do whatever you want. He uses ribs a lot. He's like 120 miles away. Nice. Cocobelli. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna keep changing. I'm just playing around. Nice, Pooch came by my stream not too long ago. I think it was last night. That's the Nautilus, right? Yeah, he wants fires and sprays as well. Thanks. It's fun. I don't do it to everything, but Since I was playing with the slip, might as well have a little fun with it. Sometimes I deflock, not all the time though. This batch of slip is not deflocked. Yeah, I saw the ads for NCCA go up. I guess it was last month or something, and I looked at it and it kind of went out the back of my mind. So if it's happening, I'll take a look at the prices and see what they're charging for the virtual part and see if I can check it out, because it sounds like a lot to look at, especially if you can take your time looking at it. Tomorrow's the last day, huh? Wow. Totally slipped my mind. Did they say how long you can watch the different videos? Maybe IRL next year. Do you know where it's going to be next year? Probably not. I don't know if they announced that far ahead. Since it's really only an option for me when it's on the East Coast. Nice. Yeah, if you find out, let us know. Ohio or Pittsburgh? That's not too far away. March 17th to 21st. Bit pricey? Yeah. Okay, so it does have a few more days. Sacramento, California in 2022, huh? Holy moly. Well, I'm not going to be there. California is the east of something. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. That'd be cool. Yeah. Do a Twitch exhibition. The Twitch educators? Yeah. I like that. I just can't help but teach. If someone asks the question, I just have to have to answer. You didn't ask me if I'd be part of a show, a monster of a show in November. That sounds interesting. What are you setting up there, Kat? I'm interested. If you can, if you want to send me a message on Discord or a DM on Twitch or anything. Twitch is like the process room at Nsika. To watch quite a few of those videos. Oh yeah, if I don't know the answer, then I'm like, I don't know it, and I'm gonna go look it up. Like the other week, it's been quite a few weeks ago, someone asked me why it's called throwing, and I was like, you know, I should know the answer to this, but I really don't, and so I had to go look it up, and it's just taken from an old English word that means to twist. Throwan. So it's like throwan, T-H-R-A or T-H-R-W-A-N, and then thron, and then throne was just like how we anglicized it over time. Throne, to twist, to turn. Pretty interesting. Oh, you're gonna create a space for local Twitch artists. Nice, that's really cool. I mean, I've made monsters. But kind of stick to the little bit different stuff. Yeah, words are really interesting. I think language is very, very cool to explore. Yeah, it's like I feel like I should have been asked that question a long time before now. Like maybe I had been and I just didn't know the answer and forgot to look it up. But then it was just like I need to figure this out now. Someone asked me, and so I looked it up and shared it. Yeah. So I'm doing the slip because it's the clay body that I'm using for these platters is Sold 860, which is a really high grog clay body, and it has a very high grit when it's fired. It starts to come out of the clay and it makes it very gritty, and it's also a buff clay. So I wanted to brighten it for the glazes. You know the glazes look better on white clay. The glazes I use anyway. So I'm pushing them to the white. Yep, no worries, no worries. Done with the slip for a little while. Couple more pieces to trim. If I can figure out how to get in there. Wrap those up good. There we go. These are actually the blindfolded bowls that I threw. So this is just white clay, so no need to slip these up. Sold 8 strong, I think originally formulated for sculpture. I've thrown the Sold 860, which is 60 mesh grog. There's also 30, which is a larger grog. Yeah, I've thrown with some larger grog clay and immediately regretted it and never did it again. Just because I wanted to see. But the Sold 860 is about the max I can tolerate. It's basically sanding your hands. But I really like it for raku and sculpture. And I use it when I throw my large stacked vessels. Anything that's going to be pretty large. Who needs skin, right? Yeah, exactly. Only sometimes. Most of the time, maybe. I don't know. It works out pretty good. It's just it's exfoliation. I'm just getting just getting a new layer of skin on my palms, getting rid of all those calluses. That's all. It's like a spa treatment. People would pay good money for that. Exfoliate. Fingertips are overrated. Cone 6 version of Sold 860. I fire Sold 860 to a strong 6 and it's fine. I fire Sold 860 through the entire range of firing. I fired it from Cone 04 to Cone 10. It's one of the most versatile clay bodies I've ever worked with. as long as you can figure out ways to compensate the grog and the color, then it works out pretty well. All the firings I've done, it's been fine. I fire a little higher than 6, though. It's not a true 6, it's a hard 6. It's more like cone 7. Yeah, lock up those chickens. It's late for chickens. You just did your chickens too? Yeah. I got a dozen eggs out of the coop yesterday. I have like 5 18 packs of eggs in the fridge right now. It's mass production. You saw a friend lock up the chickens with a fox watching at the tree line. Yeah, luckily I have like a double walled pin, so I have like a pin and then it goes into the coop. So there's like double layer of protection for the chickens. But I'm also not like in the country or anything, so I don't have lots of foxes or anything. Technically, my chickens are behind a wall of hedges and then also a 5-foot fence. And then they have their secondary enclosure, and then they have their coop. So they're pretty protected from everything. Yeah, we do have to watch out for the raccoons and possums, though. Yeah, we can't let them not go in their coop. We've added the extra coop and the extra run since then to keep them safe. You gotta keep those chickens safe. I need my eggs. Gotta get straw. That's right. Whoop. bad blindfolded bull. Good weight too. Yeah. Pottery ceramic bird nest with the trimmings. Yeah, I've seen people make trimming sculptures before, and you can do a lot with it. I just think it's a little brittle. It depends on the size of the trimming. So if it's larger, and typically you're waiting until it's like leather hard to trim. So, but the ribbons of clay are fun. You can do stuff with them for decorating. I used to like to take the, so when I'm throwing, at the base of the cup, I take a knife and I cut down into the bottom to trim off a little ring at the base. And I used to take those, because they're wet right off the wheel, I used to take the cuttings, and so they'd be a little bit thicker too. They'd be, maybe a 1/4 inch thick or so, sometimes 1/8 of an inch thick. All different sizes and shapes. Typically cut into a bit of an angle, and plus, like right at the edge of where it's coming off, it makes these like ripples and these weird cut marks. And so I would take those trimmings off the thrown pieces, and I would make just like a little sculpture on the edge of the wheel as I would throw a bunch of mugs. You're throwing a series of like, however many mugs you're going to throw in a day. And so you get through about 10 pieces and you have a nice tall little sculpture of those bits. And so I would take those and then raku fire them with, the different metallic glazes and make like little funky little sculptures like that. Those were really cool looking. But it's kind of a similar shape and idea to the trimmings. Hey, Wervitail. Haven't done pottery since high school. Kind of miss doing it. So fun. Yeah. It's a great medium. Wonderful medium. I mean, I am a little biased, but... last thrown one, or the last piece to be trimmed. So I'm gonna have to take a moment to clean up the wheel before I can switch over to anything else. It's funny because I actually remembered to WD-40 the wheel today, so my pedal is not all squeaky anymore. And then now my trimmings are making all the wheel noise. Well, once the world opens back up and you can get into a pottery class, I recommend it. It's good for you. It can be very therapeutic. I think we could all use a little therapy post-COVID. Even if it's just having a creative outlet. Hey, Hell Miniature. How are you? Does it center you? It centers me. You kind of have to be centered. You have to find that little bit of zen. Back when you did it in high school, you accidentally managed to make a cat-shaped mug that perfectly stabs me in both my eyes when I try to drink from it. So that's nice. I got a good grade on it. Robbie Sabi, nice. I've seen a lot of mugs like that where you focus on the sculpture and then it ends up being a deadly weapon. With cat ears, and then I want to drink out of it, and the cat ears try to poke me in my eyeballs. Oh man, that's a good story though. I'm glad you got a good grade on it. It looks adorable, so it's got that going for it. There you go. At least it can sit on a shelf and hang out and be cute and do its job that way. I need a big bowl. There we go. Hey, thank you for the follow, Werventail. Really appreciate it. Splash pan is full. Piles and piles of trimmings. Here's your bird's nest, Sam. You can bathe in the trimmings. Yeah. Again, another one of those spa treatments that someone would pay an arm and a leg for. Us potters, we live in the lap of luxury. Mud baths, exfoliation, trimming baths. Deconstruct the wheel for a second. We're all millionaires, totally. It just depends on how you value things, right? Oh no! That's horrible. I'm so sorry. Still debating on whether or not you want a removable wheel head or a split pan. They both have their ups and downs. The thing I like about the removable head is that sometimes you have options to make it kind of more modular, but the thing I don't like about where you have your splash pan is basically the entire wheel tabletop, is that everything in it gets dirty. And if you don't have a way to lift the head above where the splash pan is, you can only make pieces to a certain width or use bats that are a certain width. So I was using that really large bat earlier that just fit inside my wheel head. So it was this one, and that just fit inside the splash pan, but the trimmings had nowhere to go. But then I also have bats that are even larger, and if I wanted to make a piece this big, then I wouldn't be able to have my splash pan on, which is actually kind of nice, because then even though I'm not using the splash pan, I can make these really large pieces here, and sure, I might make a little bit of a mess, but I have that option to keep going wider and wider and wider. Now, some of the removable heads have like little stands, and you can actually raise them above a little bit. The removable wheel head is so that you can take it off when you're trying to like clean out everything in the splash pan after you're done throwing. It's an interesting design, but definitely not my favorite. Yeah, if you get a chance, go check out the survey that was just posted in chat. There's all of the entries for the Twitch Pottery Throwdown have been submitted, so you can go in there and vote for your favorite. Please do. Everyone made some really unique work, and if you want to see some of the other potters' work that are streaming here on Twitch, then that's the place to go to find it. Lots and lots of very talented people. Lots and lots of hours went into making those works. Alright, this is not perfect, but I'll have to do for now. If only I had enough stuff to trim for... Go vote, it's your civic duty. That's right. It's a summons. You've been summoned to vote. Alright. Now it's just my everything here. Alright. That'll do. Yeah, they're all amazing. Need a little bit of room. I'm gonna move a couple pots out of the way. Alright. Here we go. Buyers around the world have made great sacrifices for you to have the right to vote. Make them proud. That's right. I sacrificed an air compressor and spray booth fan so that my pots could survive. Be submitted for the pottery throwdown. Almost back together, almost back together. Get myself a wee bit of water. So I've had a few people on stream over the last few days, or the last couple weeks, ask about yarn bowls. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw a couple yarn bowl bodies and hopefully finish them up next week on stream. And then finish up with a few cylinders. Gotta make those mugs. That's what you made on stream today. I swear I didn't watch your stream, but I feel like we're of the same mindset. Like, Robbie was watching my stream, decided to do everything that I was going to do and talk about all the stuff I was going to talk about. Yeah, I've made a bunch of them before. There was this little shop in Berlin, Maryland, right around the corner from where I'm at here, and the owners there used to buy them nonstop. I couldn't really make enough for them because they would sell them constantly, so I started making them for them, and then couldn't really make enough of them. Sold a bunch, and then when they closed down, I kind of quit making them because I wasn't selling them myself. Only when people had custom orders. What do I do with the trimmings? I dry them out completely, add water, slake it down, put it on a piece of plaster, wait for it to get back into a workable consistency, and then wedge it up and throw it again. They're tasty when you fry them. Dry them first. Yeah, dry them out completely. They slake down much better if they're bone dry when you re-wet them. If you don't let the clay dry out completely, I find that it doesn't rehydrate evenly, and you'll have to like work through hard spots and thin spots, and it's kind of weird. So I like to get everything back to completely dry and then nutritional. Very nutritional. The trimmings are life. The lifeblood of a potter. All the trimmings they get to eat. Your high school recycled clay to save money. My teacher let us mix it during lunch for extra credit. Hey, that's a good deal. I would give extra credit for that too if I had any students here. That's what my pug mill is for. Yep. I don't have a pug mill. I have a clay mixer, but it is not a pug mill, so it does not do the same job. Yeah. We had a pug mill at the college, and that made life pretty easy. And then they're just so dang expensive that I never got one for myself. And I haven't had one for so long that it's like, it's kind of second nature to not have one. Well, it's nice you got it for 1K. It's actually pretty cheap for a pug mill. Mini Peter Pugger, to be honest, I don't remember how much it was, maybe $1,500. Yeah, the Peter Pugger is definitely the brand I prefer, and the ones I like are in the $7,000 range that have the mixer and vacuum built into them. You know, I've got that rich millionaire potter taste. Never fit that thing in your house. I know. I don't even know how I would get it in my studio. Just have to get a new studio for the pug mill, that's all. Small but diligent. You can't beat that. its own luxury room. Yeah, you get the pug mill. It gets its own room. Gets a nice spotlight. We'll roll out the red carpet underneath of it. The whole nine. Feed it trimmings. Potter's favorite meal. All the trimmings it can eat. Don't forget to knock before you enter. You might have company. The pug mill has a do not disturb sign. Pug mill lives better than I do. Yeah, right. I want to get one. I'll giggle every time I look at it. Eventually. We've talked about it for a long time. Wire tool. There we go. You'll start the GoFundMe, yeah, for the luxury pug mill. You walk in the room, and it'll have a motion sensor, so that as soon as you walk in, only one light above the pug mill comes on, and then there's the sound of like, oh, and then all the rest of the lights come on. Of course, then it's just like. Just that first moment that's nice and peaceful with the pug mill. Funds are for the pug mill jacuzzi. It has its own like water jets that cleans it off from the outside, and then it drains down underneath. That's good. I like it. The pug mill's life for me. Pug mill lives better than your pets. Alright, see you next week, Mountain Mama. Thanks for hanging out. Have a great evening. Oh no. Planter's saucer. I have had to unpack orders just to put one little thing in. Like the lid to a jar or something just silly that would be ridiculous to miss. Hey Randy, good to see you. No worries, hang out. Enjoy. Teapot lid yesterday. At least you don't actually get the boxes picked up right away. I have to triple check myself, so I'm yeah, I'm so forgetful. Yeah, you always gotta check. Yeah, luckily you have time to check it out before it gets shipped out. As long as you know what order it goes with. I always spend so much time reinforcing my boxes and getting everything in it that I feel like I spend more time looking at the inside of the box trying to make the spaces for everything than I do. It's almost hard for me to miss stuff because it takes me so long. Of course, you probably ship a lot more stuff than I do. Shopify makes life so easy. It can be fairly stressful, but I have a pretty good system now for packaging, so I used to be more worried about pieces breaking, and I've had some unfortunate accidents in the past, but every time you have something break, it just teaches you that lesson. Unfortunately, it's a hard way to learn the lesson, but you have to take a lot of time and make sure your pieces are packed pretty well. Once you get your system down, then it's just kind of following the rules you set up for yourself, basically, on how you know you're going to make the pieces survive. I don't really overthink it. I just try to do it right and then get it done, and I'm not really worried while it's in the mail. I just carry on and hope everything goes well. There's only so much you can do, and there's no need to worry so much. I think if I if I worried that I didn't put enough reinforcements in the box or package it properly, um, then I would have a problem, where I'd be like, oh, I don't know if I put enough in that, and now I'm going to sit here and worry about it until it gets to its destination, and that's always an issue. But yeah, now I don't really do the same thing. Used to work for UPS, so I'd pray a lot. Yeah. I stopped using UPS a long time ago, and I switched to USPS, and I've had good luck ever since, thankfully. Not that I think they're any nicer to the packages, but maybe it was just the luck has been better, or my packaging has been better. For a while, it seemed like every time I sent a package in UPS, it was definitely broken when it got there, and I had enough of it and never went back. You worked as a plane offloader and not looking great. Yeah. It's funny, I just did the same USPS, was a pain. UPS has been a dream since I switched this year. So much faster and cheaper. Interesting. So Sam, if you're still watching, the trimmings I was talking about are these trimmings right here. It's this little lip of clay that you can peel off, and you can like take it and fold it and do all these little kind of things, and then you stack up like 20 of them, or whatever, however many you want. You can make this little pile, and it's got all these fun edges and twists, and you can make a fun little sculpture out of that. Hell says, one trick I saw for packing pottery was to do box in a box. Yeah, double boxing is always a good idea. And then Werventail says, probably because USPS is American. Yeah. Right. I think shipping anything fragile can be a nightmare, really, if you aren't prepared for it. But if I don't want to double box, so I'll double box if I can, but if it's just gonna be like where it makes the package so incredibly large that it's just unruly, then what I tend to do is I make little chambers inside the box. So I'll take it and I'll section it off with big pieces of styrofoam, like an inch or so. And I also use cardboard, and I'll make, an area for each piece. So if it's, this pot, it'll have its own section, and I'll block it off. And this will be inside the styrofoam, inside the box, and then it'll have newspaper and bubble wrap. And then, if there's another piece that needs to go in it, then I do a cardboard section or styrofoam sections. And I always make sure that it's going up to the top of the box, so that if there's pressure from the top of the box, it's being supported by whatever ridge I put in it. So whether it be styrofoam or cardboard. And then especially for cups, they each get their own little kind of section. And so you can do imagine a case of wine, right? Where it has those cardboard separators. Except I do something similar to that, except it's just a spot for the piece, and there's also bubble wrap and paper around it so that it can't shift. And then I'll make those sections, and if there's space above it, I'll add layers of cardboard above it, and then I can do double layers of pots if I need to. So I can do a layer down here, and then cardboard, and then another layer up here. And so it's just really about how you're packaging. You just want to make sure you leave enough room for all of the material. I don't want anything to be shifting around. Yeah, you pack stuff so tight it'll never shift ever. Exactly. And then take the poop out of it, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just you try to get everything in its own space so nothing will touch, and then give it enough rigidity so the box can't crush. And then, you get it so nothing can move, and then you take the crap out of it. That's basically how you ship pottery. I tried double boxing for a while, but my pieces the boxes kept getting larger and larger, and I was doing the same thing for all the little boxes, and I was it's a little overkill, but now I just kind of create the extra boxes on the inside of the piece, essentially. By creating those spaces, it's putting an extra box in there, just reinforcing the area where the pieces are. Oops. You got some pottery to ship? If you want to test how good your packaging is, pack one and play soccer with it for 5 to 10 minutes. That sounds like that's probably a good way to test it. What are the people who work for the post office gonna do? They're kick it across the room. I have a double box. I used to work for a potter that had a shipping system. It was ridiculous. Double boxes with egg carton in between and 2 layers of big bubble wrap. She had 1 to 2 pots per 20-inch cube. My goodness, yeah, that is excessive in my opinion. You just shipped a mug, but then you were thinking about you shipping a teapot. I see. Dropped one down the stairs yesterday. That was my test. Yeah, that's one way to get that test done. Drop it down the steps and see if it survives. It is not the recommended course of action, but will work. If it passes the soccer test, it'll survive any abuse unless they drive over it. I've received some packages that literally look like they've been driven over, so you never know. It didn't rattle. Well, there you go. I always give them a good shake, toss them around. And typically I pack it well enough so that I know that it's not going to shift and that there's enough support that if anything even did puncture the sides that it would be safe. Hey Polly, how are you? Good to see you. Hey Kimster K. Oh, thank you for the raid. Good to see you. Hope everyone is well. Hope you had a good stream, Polly. Welcome, welcome. We're just talking about shipping. Potter's Bane. Your job for UPS was to attempt to retape the boxes they mangled. I'm great. Retape. Yeah, I thought you meant retape. You ordered an expensive collector's Barbie doll. Box arrived looking like someone decided to click a hole in it. Barbie packaging was absolutely destroyed. Really heartbreaking. Oh, kick a hole in it. Yeah. So that's why I use the 1 inch thick, or it's like between it's like an inch to 2 inch piece of styrofoam, so that if something does start to puncture the side, that hopefully the pot doesn't get hit. And then if I don't do that, I add a triple layer of cardboard. I basically take all of the clay boxes that are like my trash essentially, and I reuse the clay boxes as extra layers of cardboard in my packaging, so I get basically triple or quadruple thick piece of cardboard in the sides. Yeah, but that's heartbreaking to get something like that and then have it destroyed. Hopefully you can make a claim against that. That's rough. You got a refund, that's good. It's a shame the product was broken though. It's a collector's piece. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take a pot, package it, play soccer with it for 5 minutes. see how it holds up. You like to pack the pots inside of pots and then worry that they send the big planter off to Uncle Joe with the T-ball inside. Yeah, right. Use up all that space. I mean, you would hope that they would look through the box looking for all their stuff, unless they're sending it all to Uncle Joe in the first place. So it'd probably work out for the best. What is this little cup thingy you sent me? I found it inside my other pot. Had eyes on it, its tongue was sticking out, scared the crap out of me. Yeah, I made some monster bowls and mugs for a couple friends of mine, and I'm remaking the tea bowl that I think I forget to pack. Yeah, right. And that's always fun to put crazy expressions on your pots like that. Love monster pots. All right, good luck with that. Internets can be wacky. Yeah, I had this really nice crystalline bowl, a big bowl. I mean, like, it was about 18 to 20 inches across. I don't remember the exact dimensions at this point in time, but I sent it to Pennsylvania. It wasn't too far. It was just over the border, so it was really close to Maryland. And yeah, it totally arrived broken. And I mean, they're like really expensive pieces too, so I felt horrible. But ended up remaking the piece as close as possible and sending a replacement that was comparable. Yeah, monster pots are fun. But yeah, that was heartbreaking. Never want to see a customer send you pictures of broken pots. And especially since most of my stuff is like one of a kind that I sell online, it's pretty rough. Yes, broken pots from customers equals sadness. Luckily, the customer was really cool. It was actually this lady that I played this like mobile RPG with her, and I made pots for the whole community. I made everyone mugs, and then she ordered a bowl outside of it. So I got to. It was someone I knew, so she was super cool with it and took the replacement and was happy about it. You have one broken pot story with a happy ending. You had a lady call you had a lady that was so into your work that she kind of became a stalker, calling me at weird hours to order things and driving 6 to 7 hours to every show. It was hard to be mad because she spent so much. But when one piece arrived broken and I didn't replace it in a day, she freaked out and never talked to us again. I was okay with that. Yeah, I can see how that would be weird. It's a little excessive to be sure. How can you, you can't be expected to replace something in a day. I feel like a lot of people don't understand the process, and you really try to explain what the process is, but like, even if I try my hardest and I made something today, I probably could have it done in 5 days, but man, that's still an absurd amount of time, and everything has to be perfect. I have to already have a kiln load of stuff ready to go, and you speed dry the piece, hope it doesn't crack. That's just madness. Plus, it's kind of nice to be rid of the person that you feel like is kind of being overbearing sometimes. Like, you're such a good customer. Why do you have to be so weird? Says we're kind of spoiled by companies that mass produce things quickly, so I can maybe see why she got upset that you didn't replace it immediately, since she maybe forgot that these things actually do take time to make. Yeah. Or do a firing for just that one piece. Yeah. I don't have a kiln that I would be like happy about firing off for just one piece. I mean, unless it was, even if it was like a massive piece or something, it would take longer than I would want it to take longer than that for drying and making sure that it was actually prepared to go in the kiln. But yeah, that's pushing it. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with people who are spoiled by the instant gratification that you get from everything these days, and forget that handmade items are unique and special for the reason that they are, which is that they take time to be handcrafted. So you can kind of lose sight of that every once in a while, but I think that's why a lot of people buy this stuff, though, because they actually appreciate it and understand the value in it. So if that's the reason that she had to be ticked off, then so be it, you know. Probably better off in the long run. Ever have customers who can't afford what they're buying and then I feel guilty? Yeah. I mean, I don't think I can afford most of my work. But it's because I'm an artist and I make it for a living. But I think that it's the I want it now generation, yeah. I don't really feel guilty if anyone overspends, because I don't really know anyone's budget. I mean, it's like they have to be okay with it, and I feel like a lot of what I do, it's especially at shows, is kind of spontaneous buying, and I have to rely on people having that extra income and the ability to just kind of buy it now. You never want to let someone walk away. Oh, nice, Mark. I'm glad you stopped by and found the stream. Hopefully you're enjoying it, and your wife. It's amazing that that Twitch has a good pottery community for you to have been able to find what you're looking for on. Awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Mark. Wervin says, yeah, I'm a fashion lover, and I think the fashion industry is the most spoiled in this regard. Yeah, clothing was never this cheap before it was mass produced. I can see that, yeah. And the trends turn over so fast. This is very relaxing. I really try to make it relaxing, and I think it's got that. Pottery is a kind of a slow medium, and you have to be patient with it, and so I think it lends itself to being kind of relaxing and mesmerizing and enjoyable to watch that way. Best pottery community ever. I agree. Everyone is awesome on Twitch so far. I'm really glad that we found the group here for the Twitch Pottery Throwdown. I'm so thrilled to have been a part of it and to meet everyone and keep streaming here. Really enjoying it. Makes it so much better to have a nice community to work with. We had 144 votes. Nice. That's good. Yeah, I've been trying to send people over there, Polly. So I made a chat bot exclamation mark vote for anyone who hasn't had a chance. The Twitch Pottery Throwdown event, we have our main makes up and everyone can vote. So if you want to check out the survey, you can type in exclamation mark vote in chat, and then you'll get yourself the link to the survey where you can choose. Yeah. Yeah, Polly, you've been amazing through this whole thing. Thank you so much. And please pick your favorite. You get one vote on there. All the work is amazing. Everyone did such a wonderful job creating these pieces over the 6 weeks. Wervin says, watch your work is mainly just giving me flashbacks of how it was. I was too weak to use the wheel in high school. I got zero muscles in my arms, so I pushed on that clay and it would not budge. Yeah. Nice, Kat. Good job. Yeah, I posted the survey on social media too for people to check out. So that's kind of the trick, Wervin, is that you don't want to rely on how strong you are. You want to use leverage and use the wheel to do the work for you at the speed that it's spinning. I know it sounds weird, but it's really just about putting your body in the right place and holding still. I call it encouraging. You're just encouraging the clay to take shape. Your hands are like a frame. You're just creating the shapes you want with your fingers and then getting it to take that shape. The clay always ended up pushing me. Yep. I like to tell my students, don't let that pound of clay push you around. The trick is to lock your elbow. So you have to have your elbow locked into your body. So whether it's in your core, like in your inner thigh, or in your leg, and then you lock your arm. You're pressing with the heel of your palm up through your thumb. And you want to make sure that you're applying pressure through your body. So I'm leaning in through my torso into my arm, and just ever so slightly leaning into the clay, and then holding still. And I'm just trying to hold a very specific amount of pressure against the clay to make it take shape. If you don't lock your arm and your elbow is free and loose in the air and you're pushing on the clay and you're trying to use your muscles, it starts to do this. And then I'm sure you spent a lot of time trying to ride this ridiculous bull that starts to come out of the clay when you don't lock your arm, because you have to lock your arm and lean into it. Yeah, but you have to use your body weight. So what you want to do is get leverage. So you need to move closer to the wheel, and you need to lift your leg up. You can like kind of put your foot up on the stool and lift your thigh up in the air a little bit. And you want to make sure that you're using your torso and your body weight, your upper body, to lean through your arm. You're creating a line of pressure through your arm, and you want your arm to be stable. So if I like press against my arm with my fist, it's not budging. You have to be locked into your core and then just lean in and hold still. I had a Ravens football player as a student, and he was such a softie, he couldn't center a little ball of clay. I had to help him every time. Adorable. Yeah. Yep. You'll never get it centered if you're not locking your arm and leaning into it. I did eventually make a vase. It turned out a bit thick, but eventually I kind of got it. Really tiring though. Yeah, if you're relying on trying to center with your like strength through your arms and you're just like pressing in on it and trying to use all your muscle and energy, it'll wear you out pretty quick. When I'm teaching, I try to give the best, easiest advice that I can to get people through that struggle right away. And I feel like if that was a problem you were having, then it's really a problem your teacher had for not being able to give you that information when the teacher moved. Yeah. The part I had trouble with is hollowing things out. Yep. So again, you're stabilizing and then using the wheel. The speed of the wheel is really important. The faster the wheel's spinning, the faster you'll move through solid parts of clay. So this clay right now is a solid mass. So the faster the wheel's spinning, if I just apply pressure, and I don't want to move faster than the wheel spinning, I want to let the wheel do the work. It's like a saw. You don't want to press into the saw teeth or they get caught up while you're trying to pull it back and forth. If you just let the weight of the saw move back and forth, then the saw does all the work. This is the same thing. I want to apply pressure and let the wheel do all the work. So it's like I'm pressing on my skin firmly. I'm just pressing, and then as the wheel spins, it lets my hand move deeper and deeper into the clay. And then when I get to the bottom, I do the same thing, except instead of pressing down, now I'm moving out to the sides. And the important thing to remember is that when you look down inside the piece, you have to ask yourself, does it look like a cup? If the inside looks like a bowl, then you're not making a cup. If you want to make a cylinder, it shouldn't look like a bowl. If you want to make a cylinder, it shouldn't look like it has a 1-inch opening and a 3-inch wide base. You have to kind of pay attention to those things and ask yourself those questions. And if it doesn't look right, then you need to open it more. I always say it's technique, not muscle. I agree with that 100%. I have seen the tiniest of people center the clay without any issues. And I have seen the biggest of people have trouble. Hey, Lexi, good to see you. I've seen the biggest people sit there and not be able to ever center because they can't settle down and relax and lean into it. Hey, Maki, have a great evening. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. It was always good to see you. Thank you so much. I'll catch you next time. Alexi, how you been? Howdy, howdy. Great, finished up my internship yesterday and I'm on to paternity leave now. Well, congratulations, that's wonderful. Really glad to hear it. Congratulations on the little one. I'm doing great, Alexi. Thanks so much for asking. Just really enjoying streaming. We've just finished up the Twitch Pottery Throwdown last week. Was the last week of challenges and submitting the main make. So I I've just been so humbled to have been a part of it, and really glad to have met everyone in the community. Actually, twins. Oh my goodness. Well, you're in for it, bud. Oh man. Congratulations, doubly so. And so if you haven't had a chance, Alexi, you can check out the ! Vote command in chat, and you can vote for the pieces from the main make. So go ahead and check that out. So if I remove the empty toner cartridge from my printer and put it back in, can I fool my printer into printing 3 more labels? Kat, there's actually a really interesting way to trick your printer. If you take out your toner cartridge, the printer, if it's an actual toner cartridge, what the printer does is it has a laser that shoots through the cartridge to tell it how much toner's in it. So what you want to do is you take a piece of masking tape and you put it over where the laser shoots through the cartridge. If you do that, your toner will probably last you another month or 2 of like heavy printing. I swear to God, it's like completely full of toner, and it just makes you empty the cartridge and refill it more than you need to. Yeah. Yeah, definitely get oh, you already voted? Nice. Yeah, definitely get your sleep while you can, Alexi. Trust me, I know. Yeah, try the if you take your toner cartridge out, you should see like a little window on it, and if you can, just put a piece of masking tape over it. Yeah, I can imagine that seeing twins was quite a surprise. That's a wake-up call. What? So I have a laser printer with toner cartridge, and I always do the masking tape over the sensor through the cartridge, and my cartridges print like thousands and thousands of more pages. It's like it tells you it's empty when it's half full. It's ridiculous. Wow. Yep, and then bam, twins. You wanted it so badly, you got it doubly so. That's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be great that they get to grow up with that bond. Oh, come on now. I'm good on being famous things. Yeah, the universe was trying to catch up. Accidentally missed the first try. It's like, here you go. Compensating for forgetting one, that's right. Yeah, you should try it. I don't change my toner until it starts bleeding out all over the place and it starts looking like it came out of a 1960s like press printer. Night, Lisa. Thanks so much. Thank you, Sam. Hope you both have a great evening. Thank you so much for hanging out. Always a pleasure. Thank you for the questions. Catch you again next week. No worries, Kat. Thanks so much. Have a great one. Enjoy your dinner. Take care. Thank you so much for hanging out and stream tonight. Got about 2 more of these in me, and then I'm gonna call it a night. My water is just slipped now. Hey, wonderful. I love kitty cat viewers. That's perfect. You like batting at the screen? How do I know how much clay to use for each one? I pre-weighed the clay before. So these are £1.25 pounds. So about 20 ounces. You got 2 viewers over there. Nice. Lexi also has a furry friend watching. Wonderful. So typically, Mark, what I do is I take, depending on the item that I'm making, I have an amount of clay that I use for the specific items. So my like 16 to 20 ounce mug, or my typical pint mug, is going to be the 20 ounces of clay that I use to make it, and it's really just through muscle memory that I make them about the same size every time. And then, you know, for these yarn bowls that I made earlier, those are about 3 pounds of clay. So I know how much clay I need to use to get to the size that I need, just based on how I throw it. I'm not really using measuring sticks or anything. Some people use a measuring tool on the side of the wheel that helps them know how high to throw it, how wide to make it. And I prefer just to have the uniqueness of each piece, so I'll let them be slightly larger, slightly smaller, and I think that adds to the character, the fact that it's handmade. And then, even though I don't use the measurements, the pieces, just because of how I move my hands and how I make them, they all end up fairly similar, even though I'm not measuring. I'll show you the board of mugs. When I get done, you'll see that they're all fairly consistent in size and shape. Mishka doesn't seem to understand. He's too big to sit on my lap. Yeah. Oh, no worries, Mark. Anytime. If anyone has any questions, please ask. I'm happy to answer. And if I don't know the answer, I'll figure it out for you. Whew. Almost lost the board there for a second. I forgot I moved my shelf away from myself earlier. There we go. All right. Just down to the shaping here on this one. Again, thank you all so much for hanging out with me this evening. It's been a pleasure. I enjoy the conversation. I enjoy sharing this with you, and I'm glad that you're enjoying it as well. Happy to answer your questions. It was lovely to meet all of the new people who joined tonight. Wervin, Mark, thank you so much. Lexi, good to see you again, as always. Congratulations again, my friend. In April, well, we'll see if my pot wins the vote. I think everyone did a really amazing job, and it's a hard choice in my opinion. I think that all the pieces are really unique, and everyone got to show their uniqueness and their talent and their voice in clay. And I don't think it's an easy choice for who wins, and I'm happy for anyone who wins. I'm just glad that it got me motivated enough to get on Twitch and start streaming. Yeah, for sure. Because now I get to do this all the time, and I'm really enjoying it, so I think it's wonderful. Alright. So you can kind of see that the pots are fairly uniform. And again, that's just from throwing them somewhat similarly. Muscle memory. And then as long as the weight's about the same, then they all come out about the same size. And there's a little bit of variance, but I think that's the fun part of it. It really shows that it's handmade work, you know, handcrafted. It has character. I'm going to try to find another pottery friend to raid this evening, so I'll see who's on, and I'll send you over that way. And again, thank you all so very much for hanging out. It's always a pleasure and a wonderful time here with you on Twitch. And I'll catch you on the next stream. I'll be back next Wednesday. And check for me on Tuesdays and Thursdays in April. All right. See you later, friends.